Welcome back to the channel, and today I want to talk to you guys about what I feel is General Motors' #1 issue. Now, if you're a car person at all, you've probably heard of an LS. I mean, it is one of their best motors they've ever produced. High schoolers nationwide are buying these things with 250,000 miles, throwing a couple Chinese spoolie boys on them, and just doing donuts for the rest of the life of the motor. But their most popular motor is actually the Ecotec. With just last year alone, they sold over 6 million units. Because the company's so wide, they've sold them in so many different vehicles. Because you got Chevrolet, Buick, Pontiac, they even put them in Opels. And in 2014, GM even claimed that that Ecotec motor was the largest engine program they had ever undertaken. Bonk. But they all have one major flaw that seems to catch every single one of these motors, including this 2010 Pontiac G6. Check that engine. What I have here is what's in millions of GM vehicles. It's a 2.4 liter Ecotec motor. This is my friend's car. She bought this thing and she is a little bit concerned. She got a good deal on it, but there's one major problem. Outside of the check engine light, she went to check the oil and a bunch of oil puked out of the dipstick, which means it had a lot of pressure behind it. And here's the problem. Pull this oil cap. Can you guys hear that? There's a lot of pressure in that crankcase. The cap itself is just vibrating because it's actually got pressure behind it. Now, she took it to a local automotive shop and they told her that she probably had a bad head gasket and that was gonna cost her thousands of dollars. Now, what I can tell you guys is I'm gonna bet 99% of the time it's not a head gasket if it's an Ecotec motor. But there are a few ways to check that. One, is your antifreeze a different color? Our antifreeze is the same color. Secondly, is your oil gray? Our oil is not gray, meaning it's got water in it. Thirdly, you can actually just go back and set a rag or something behind your exhaust pipe and just see if it's getting a bunch of antifreeze and oil or something like that in there, and that'll usually tell you as well. What I found with these motors is seems to be the same problem, whether it has 80,000 miles or 180,000 miles. Super common is that the PCV clogs up in it. Now, that usually happens for one of two reasons. Either the person doesn't change their oil regularly, so they use the wrong oil and it gets clogged up and it clogs that PCV up, or that vehicle's just been sitting for a long time and that carbon buildup will actually just sit in there and clog up that PCV. The PCV is your positive crankcase ventilation, and you have pressure that builds up in your engine bay, down in the crankcase. And as that pressure builds up, you need a way to relieve it, thus the PCV valve. Now, in most vehicles, you'd be like, well, PCV, that's easy. Usually just a couple screws, pop it off, put a new one in. Sometimes they just twist in. In this case, GM's engineers did us really dirty because you have a really great motor with one major fail point, and it is down inside the intake. This one here is the worst one to get to, but it's back here. Just another hose plant. All right. You can see how much oil has already been collecting up here through the pressure switches and stuff, and what's boiling out of the cap because of the pressure on the engine. So what I want to do today is show you guys how we can fix this fairly quick, fairly easy, for practically free, minus your time, because what you don't want to do is you don't want to let this go too long. If you get the check engine light for the high pressure oil, what's going to happen here is if you keep running on this, you're going to start blowing seals, and then this thing's going to get really expensive. I literally just got off the phone with one of my buddies that's a mechanic, and one of the things he changes on these all the time is rear main seals because they pressured up and then blew out. So the first thing I want to do is obviously put the cap back on and I'm gonna put a rag here in the throttle body. That way I don't accidentally hit that or touch that. We need to disconnect some of these cords. We need to disconnect this vacuum line, some of these plugs, and we just gotta move the fuel rail out of the way. We don't have to actually take everything off. We just gotta flop it out of the way. So when you go take these lines off, it's really easy. There's just a little clip here. You push the hose in, push the clip down, and then pull it out. So just that little guy right there. Pretty easy. Oh, don't lose that. And a pair of pliers. Take these bad boys off. Now that we got the wiring harness up out of the way, antifreeze cooling line out of the way, we need to get the fuel rail out of the way, and the best way to do that is just pop these clips out. I'll show you. Just like that. Just make sure you don't lose them, because finding them will be kind of hard. Now, with those off, should just have to take these two 10mm screws out. We'll be good. Well, brought the injectors with it, but not a big deal. Not a big deal. Do want to clean all that up anyway. Isn't going to be a bad thing. One of the things I suggest before you go any farther is just clean everything up. That way you don't have anything falling into your cylinders, because, you know, obviously you don't want anything in your cylinders minus gas and air. I did suck out all of the carbon buildup, all the pieces of plastic that are everywhere, and then cleaned up that intake a little bit. I also went ahead and just wiped down and cleaned up these injectors because, well, we had them out, might as well do it. So now that we got everything cleaned up out of the way, I'm gonna go ahead and take my new rag here that I just got on my rag pile. Looks like it may have came from Maine because there's little crabbies on it. We're just going to nicely and gently stack it up here so that everything's up out of the way and we can't get anything into our cylinders. Because our PCV sits inside this intake up in here. That's right. If you wanted to change the PCV, I don't even know if they sell a replacement PCV for these intakes. I think you have to buy a whole nother intake. And then you have to actually pull your entire front intake plenum out and replace it. And it's way more expensive than what I'm about to show you. And I did go ahead and pull this out and then just took a rubber cap right here and put it in the intake. That way nothing goes down in there. But you can get one of these kits from Harbor Freight really cheap if you don't have one. And that sits in there real nice. Now we want to actually drill a little hole right there. So I'm gonna start with a 5/64 drill bit, and I also want to put a little bit of grease on it, and that way it keeps all of the plastic shavings. It'll run right up the drill bit. And there you have it. Curious where it is, it's basically directly under this bolt head. Now, no different than the injectors, this PCV gets full of carbon buildup and it's plugged off. What I'm using right now is a piece of 035 welding wire, and I'm just pushing it in here, and you can actually feel it once it goes into that hole. You just work it up and down, kind of work it around, and I was just getting piles of carbon out. You can kind of see it on my finger there. And it's just packed up. Like, that's really all it is. It's just a bunch of carbon buildup. And you can feel it once it fishes in there. More carbon. Yeah, it's hard to see it all, but I just keep getting more and more and more right there on the tip, and it's just been plugged up. Just been plugged up. So I have a piece of wire that actually welded itself to a welding tip. So I'm just using that because it ain't going anywhere. But if you don't have a welder or you don't have welding wire, you can pretty much go to any hardware store and ask for an oxyacetylene torch tip cleaner, and they'll give you nice little cleaners that are hard metal, and they're actually folded over so they won't fall in the hole. Also, with that grease on this drill bit, you can see there's my plastic pieces right there. Sucked them right up. Perfect. I don't know if you guys can see all that, but that's basically what I've just been pulling out, is just crusty chunks that are plugged up in there.
you'll be able to feel it because as you go in, it kind of stops, but then all of a sudden you'll find a spot and it just goes in another, I don't know, ½ inch or so. And when you have it, you just kind of work around in there and get it cleaned out. I think we're pretty good. I'm gonna spray some, take your hose, and then now that we know it's cleaned out pretty good, I'm gonna spray a little brake clean in here. And that'll dissipate over a few minutes. So after a few minutes, you can see it all evaporated. Now we need to go ahead and plug that hole.
And you got a couple options. If you actually end up using a bigger drill bit because you want to be able to see in there a little better, then you're gonna want to find like a screw, maybe a license plate screw or something like that. But you want to make sure it doesn't actually go in and touch the PCV itself, like the plunger of the PCV. Fortunately though, doing it that small, we should be able to just plug this thing up. Now you can use RTV and a screw. I'm gonna use JB Weld and just seal that thing right off. Just will be good.
Oh, this stuff stinks. I don't know why the JB Quick Hardener smells so bad, but it does. Now you don't have to do this, but I had some wire loom laying around and I wanted to go ahead and just fix this old stuff that's all cracked and heat checked, weather checked, whatever you want to say. Oh yeah, that looks way better. And we want to put our mat back in here. What I like to do with O-rings, and I'm going to do the same on the injectors, is put just a tiny dab of thin grease on here. And that's just going to help it slide in better and seal up better. Just like that. There we go. In case you're wondering, if you take that out, I don't know if I showed that, but you just pinch these together with a set of pliers, you pull it right out. Put our rubber cap back. Boom! Time for some injectors. Since it came out and they stayed in the rail, I'm gonna go ahead and put them back in and try to keep them in the rail. But I do want, like I said, get some installation grease here on it. And you don't have to do this. I just like to do this. That's my personal opinion. And also, if you have a misfire and it's an injector, obviously I just showed you how to do injectors because it's pretty easy, realistically. You got a couple bolts and unplug this and just pull it out. We already pulled the clips, so we have to put those back on, but I will do that before we set this back in since it came out this way. That just sets in there like so. Pretty darn easy. Pull our crusty, our carbon-filled injector holes out here and see if we can clean that up just a little bit real quick. That's better. The important part of setting this back in is just making sure that it's seated in there good. And the real advantage of using some of that assembly goo is then we know that we have a less chance of having an injector leak from the O-ring. So obviously check those O-rings, but we don't want a fuel leak because we won't be able to see it with the intake back on here. All right, we're looking like it. Make sure to plug this back in. Now, one of the things I noticed when I had this thing apart, the airline here is cracked, and I almost guarantee this is cracked because of the vacuum pressure on the system. So you can see there, I can just pull this thing right out. That is not good. Fortunately, O'Reilly sells repair kits for these, little nylon fuel line. And I got two options with it. I could heat it up and make it fit this design again, or I can probably cut it here, put the sleeve in, put this piece on, and then do the same thing. So I don't know which route I want to go. I think I'm going to try to make a new line just because this line seems extremely brittle and probably due for an upgrade. So let's see if we can heat this up and match it first. All right, I want to get this thing running. It's got kind of a safety switch on it, so I'm just going to hold that switch and then let it run here for just a sec, and I can pull the tape right off when I'm done. And we now have matching set. All right, now we can put this in. set there. Okay, don't forget to pull that or you're gonna be regretting it later. I'm gonna go ahead and wipe that down too since we're right here. Now it's very easy to forget to plug this back in, so don't forget to plug that back in. We have everything hooked back up. We made sure everything's plugged in, you know, all that stuff. Cleaned off the top of the valve cover. I might have already gained a valve cover leak because there is some oil on the back side of this motor. So let's hope we didn't, and maybe it was just kind of pressuring off the cap. I don't know. Pull the cap off, set this bad boy back in. We will find out very quickly if we did this right or not. All right. All right, we got it all back together. Moment of truth. Let's see if we've fixed our problem. Oh yeah, don't forget it's gonna take a second because disconnected your fuel lines. That sounds better already. No more pressure coming out of there. It's actually the opposite. It's vacuum now. Look at that, sucking it in. And just like that, for practically free, minus a couple lines that I found, tiny little bit of RTV or JB weld, we just fixed our problem. So now you have a good running motor. It's not gonna blow your rear main seal, so it's not gonna cost you thousands of dollars to have this engine pulled from the transmission so you can do that. That's a win. All right, let's go ahead and erase the codes. All right. And no more check engine light. Now we just saved her thousands of dollars and she got a good deal on a car. So if this is something you find, especially if somebody's selling it cheap, check that because that might help you get it cheaper and you already know the fix. Odds are pretty high. So our friend told us she was trying to find a car with a transparent steering wheel. I told her she better steer clear.
That's a good one.
Appreciate you guys watching. Hope this helped some of you out and I hope it made you knowledgeable of what GM's #1 problem is that we fix for free.
Thanks for watching. If this video helped you out, please make sure you like and subscribe.
Bye.